WNST, Towson, Baltimore, hat out, my Caps jersey out, and here they come. They've come roaring back in Columbus, Ohio, with 2 victories, including a 2-goal lead that actually held up on Thursday night as the Capitals defeat the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1. Ed Frankovic is our Caps historian, our guy on the scene. All of our WNST coverage brought to you by our friends at Howard Bank, a relentless commitment to being the best at everything they do, as well as Royal Farms, real fresh, real fast, and they're coming back to D.C. real fast on Saturday for an afternoon game here, Eddie, and momentum. Things are changing here a little bit for the Rock the Reds.
Yeah, it's amazing. You get a goaltender in net that can make a few stops, and everybody feeds off it. And the effort on Thursday night was just incredible. The commitment, 15 shots allowed for the first only almost 50 minutes of the game. And Alex Ovechkin, he said the Caps were going to come back 2-2 for Saturday's game, and he delivered. And he had a great early goal in the third period that really took a lot of life out of the Blue Jackets. In fact, the only goal the Blue Jackets got in Game 4 was kind of a ping-pong deflection, kind of lucky goal. But, hey, that's the playoffs. You know, get guys to the net and the puck goes in. But
we've been discussing luck all week, haven't we?
Yeah, luck. And but goaltending. Holtby was solid as a rock in net, and the Capitals were just so committed. I think committed is the word to use on Thursday night because they were putting the body on guys. They were back-checking, and we had a press conference with Coach Trotz on Wednesday morning at 11:30, and I asked him, I said, hey, Coach, what do you got to do? You fixed your penalty kill because most of the Columbus goals, or 4 of the first 9 goals Columbus scored, were on the penalty kill, and all the others were on the rush. I said, what do you got to do to stop your rush? And he said, well, what we got to do is we got to make sure we have numbers, and we got to make sure we have good back pressure on the puck. And anybody who watched Thursday night's game would see a clinic by the Washington Capitals in back checking, back pressure. How many lifts did we see? How many rub-outs into the boards on the blue line to take away any kind of rush game? Columbus did not have their rush game on Thursday night, and that's a credit to the way this team played as a 5-man unit.
Well, once it was 2-0 and then 3-1, the rushes were coming for the Caps. I mean, Ovechkin got stonewalled on a breakaway late in the game by Bobrovsky that, could have iced the thing earlier even. The Caps had opportunities, and more than that, look, we go back to Games 1 and Games 2. Feels like a long time ago now, right, Eddie? But penalties, right? Blowing the 2-goal lead, the odd man rushes you talk about and getting pinched and not being able to get back, Orlov being on the wrong side of the puck, all these crazy things that went wrong, including overtimes, blown leads, all of that. It's all melted away a little bit now, right? I mean, you're back on level footing. It's 2-2. You're coming home. You got momentum. You're playing well. I thought if I were going to categorize Thursday night, I would categorize it as a team victory. Like, I look across and I say, yeah, were there stars? Sure. I thought Oshie was outstanding. Obviously, Ovechkin on his game. Kuznetsov was the number 1 star of the game in assisting on the Tom Wilson goal early, as well as the Ovechkin goal. And scoring the empty netter at the end, which was a little bit of a pinch on Panarin. But, a lot of guys played well. Tom Wilson didn't play well early in the series, playing better again. Holtby didn't get a chance to play well in Games 1 or 2. Now has 2 solid games under his belt. He's earning his $6 million, as Dougie McLean said earlier here in the week, which again, feels like a long time ago, a few days ago, right?
It's been a completely different story, and you look at Ness, the Capitals, 6 of their last 7 playoff games on the road, they have won. And I think when they get out on the road, they play a more simpler style. They don't try and gamble. They don't try to make the pretty play. And now there were times in Game 4 where they were in the slot. Orlov comes to mind on the 3-on-1 where he tried to pass when he should shoot. But for the most part, they were doing the right things. And when you get that first goal on the road, you can kind of make sure you keep that number back. And you talk about all the chances the Capitals had in the third period. Again, Columbus was pinching. They were trying to put guys behind the Capitals. They were cheating, and the Capitals were sitting on it. And even though they didn't score, they got a lot of rushes on it that made the Columbus have to come all the way back to their end, back check, use a lot of energy.
They forced everybody to work, including Bobrovsky, right?
It was they made Columbus work quite a bit. Seth Jones, I think Locker said he never saw him come off the ice the last 10 or so minutes, And he did. He's played the most minutes of anybody in the series, and this is a fast turnaround on Saturday. Now, the Columbus has a lot of young guys, so I don't know that'll be a factor, but Jones is playing a lot of minutes, and they were making him work. And when you're defending the way the Capitals were defending in that third period, they made Columbus use a lot of energy to try to get anything going. They really, for the first time all series, really had a handle on Panarin. I mean, you and I have talked about him all series, and after Game 3, we're like, boy, that guy, he just finds a way to get
he's
over.
The one guy that's going to beat him. You know, if they're going to lose in Game 6 or Game 7, if something's going to go wrong, it's going to be because of him. I don't. He's their best player, and unlike the Capitals, where there's a Kuznetsov to get you if a Backstrom doesn't get you, or an Oshie who played pretty well, especially down the stretch, or Tom Wilson. There's somebody else to get you. With Columbus, I've watched them play for a week now. I wouldn't trade mine for theirs. I would say that, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely, Ness. I think the Capitals have a more deep team. They have some very good players, and they're a hard-working team. Their blue line is very good. And from top to bottom, 1 to 6, their blue line is very solid with the Jones and Werenski. But the way John Carlson's playing back there, and let's not forget, Michael Kempny went out in the first period in Game 1. And that was a big factor because the Capitals only had to go 5D at that point, and they really got worn out in that game. But Kempny has really played well in the back end. I mean, Carlson and Kempny has really turned in a nice play. The one guy who's not getting hardly any press, and I'm going to write about this at WNST.net, Matt Niskanen. Matt Niskanen has been probably playing his best hockey of the year. He's healthy. He looks healthy, at least. Everybody's carrying something. But Niskanen had that early injury in the year. He got hurt in the game up in Jersey and missed 20 games. And he is really playing well because Orlov has been up and down. Orlov has had his moments. I thought he was better tonight, but he's still not where we need Dmitry Orlov to be. But Matt Niskanen has been covering him. He's been just so solid, not making those bad backhanded passes. When Niskanen gets in trouble, he tends to panic, and he gets the puck on his backhand, and he turns the puck over. I did not see that in Columbus. Now, the coming home thing is going to be interesting because the Capitals, while they've won 6 or 7 on the road in the playoffs, they've lost 5 of their last 6 at home. So they really just have to pretend like it's a road game and just play the right way.
Well, that is the truth, right? The reason that they haven't won the Stanley Cup has because they haven't played well at home. I don't in April for whatever reason. Usually the reason is the Penguins. Sometimes it's the Rangers, but they haven't played well at home. Historically, I'm going back to the Capitol Center. The reason they've lost as a higher seed is you lose home games, right? Period.
Yeah, they just for whatever reason they tighten up at home. And they make a mistake, and then the energy gets negative in the building, and it just goes the wrong way. And they just have to play a smart game. They can't get into, we're at home, we got to be fancy. We got to try and make the pretty goal. Because guess what? The game-winning goal, TJ Oshie, while it was on the power play, how many whacks were in there? The shot from the point, and Ovechkin with a rebound, and Backstrom's in there reaching for it, and Oshie's in the right spot, and he just punches it in. I mean, those kind of goals are what get you. They won the Game 3 with they just go in the net. Lars Eller goes off his foot and in. So that's the other guy I really thought had a strong game in Game 4 was Lars Eller because you talk about Backstrom and Oshie 1-2, but then you need that third guy because you're not getting the matchups on the road. And let's remember, John Tortorella had the matchups to do what he wanted, and Coach Trotz made a very wise switch coming into Game 4 that I think switched the puck possession back. In Game 2, the Capitals really did dominate puck possession but lost. Chandler Stevenson played up with Backstrom and Oshie after Burakovsky went out. Verona played there on Wednesday, and he did some very good things. He drew some penalties that allowed them to get a big goal from Carlson. But Verona is still a rookie, and he's still learning. And they put Stevenson up there. And even though Stevenson's a rookie, he's got a lot of experience from playing down in Hershey. And I thought Stevenson was fabulous with Backstrom and Oshie. And you mentioned Oshie. Oshie was a hound on the puck all night. So the effort was there, and they really dominated Columbus to hold them to 23 shots in their own building on a game they really needed to try and put the dagger on the Capitals. Just very impressive.
He is Ed Frankovic. He is our Caps historian and blogger, writing at WNST.net and covering all things Caps for us, including some conversations back and forth we had with Barry Trotz out at Michael's Cafe in Timonium. I had a chance to watch the Orioles. I've now watched the Orioles lose at Pizza John's and at Michael's Cafe this week. I've watched Alex Cobb stink at Pizza John's and then stink at Michael's Cafe. But I tell you what, My places are great. The pizza was great at Pizza John's, and it wasn't even a crab cake. It was a crab and a lobster cake that I was eating. Way better than Alex Cobb or any Cobb salad for that matter. Michael's Cafe in Timonium, legendary. Been there since the early 80s. Stop by, see the Dellis family. We're going to be doing some events there, hanging out on the patio as well. We did a Caps viewing party there for Game 3. Had some fun earlier in the week. I was also there for lunch on Thursday, incidentally, with Carl Delmont, my dear friend from Freedmont Mortgage. Don't make a 30-year mistake by choosing a wrong lender. You need the right lender. You need Carl Delmont and our friends at Freedmont Mortgage. Buying, selling, just in the market to sniff around a little bit. You want to do that at Freedmont.com. A lot of educational stuff up there to learn about how to sell your house properly, when the right time to put it on the market, all of that. The folks at Freedmont are here to help you as well. And I might be putting together another little Caps viewing party at Michael's Cafe, because the steak was outrageously good. My problem at Michael's Cafe is I go in there, I don't know what to order, because I get the crab cakes because they're always great, and then I was told, get the steak. My wife got the steak, now I want to get the steak. Then I get the crab and lobster cake, very, very good, but I'm moving on to some of the seafood. Pete got the hot turkey, mashed potatoes there. It looked phenomenal. Ed Frankovic is here. What else looked phenomenal was the Capitals just, I guess on a momentum level, taking advantage of these opportunities, but no stupid penalties, staying out of the box for the most part, right? And, finding themselves in a better position here to come home and look like a dominant team. I mean, they've looked like a dominant team. They've been up 2 goals in the games they've lost here, Ed, right? So, let's not portray this as the Caps being outmatched. The Caps better win this series now, right? Now it's a best of 3 where they have home ice. They better win.
For sure, and I'm going to give Michael's Cafe a plug on that steak sandwich I had that night we had with Trotch. That was excellent.
I haven't gotten a steak sandwich. I keep eyeing it up with a ciabatta. I haven't ordered it yet.
It was incredible, Ness.
Oh, I didn't even plug the split-level soup. The split-level.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Okay, enough of that. But, you're making me hungry. That's why enough of that. You're making everybody hungry.
But it just all seemed to change when they put Holtby in the net there on Tuesday night, and they got a couple saves, and they seemed to build off it, and they started just going to the net and getting some ugly goals. And the other stat that I really liked that we saw on Thursday night was face-offs. The Capitals won 36 of 56 face-offs. Jay Beagle, who didn't play in Game 1 because of the upper body injury, 14-3, and a lot of those are in the defensive end, and that just wears a team out when they put their offensive guys out there. They think they're going to get, they got offensive zone face-off. Tortorella's looking for a matchup, and Beagle wins a face-off, and the Caps get it right out. Even Kuznetsov 10-8 on draws in Game 4. So very impressive at the dot, and that really, you got to go chase the puck and go get it back, and that's expending more energy. So I love the way the Capitals played. It was easily their best playoff game since probably Game 6 when you were up there in Pittsburgh with Tomlin last year. This game on Thursday night reminded me very much of the Game 6 win in Pittsburgh because they got the lead.
Dominant. Yeah, dominant is what you want to see, Eddie, right? Injuries. Burakovsky out, right? Then Smith Pelly, He
came back, though.
And also, Oshie took one off the foot as well. It's getting to be, and a lot of scrummy pushing and shoving and clutching and grabbing, as Brian Murray, the late, great Brian Murray would say. There was a lot of that going on in Game 4, too. Yeah,
I didn't like that. There was one instance where Foligno came in really late and cross-checked guy. I can't remember which defenseman in the back. That's the same thing Tom Wilson did on Seth Jones there in Game 2, got called for a penalty. So I'd like to see a little more consistency there from the guys in stripes because that's the kind of stuff that causes all 5 guys to then get it and go crazy. Foligno probably should have got a penalty there. I'm sure Don Koharski, who's the supervisor of the series, and I talked to Don between games 1 and 2. Don's pretty smart. He's a legendary referee, famous also for Wayne's World, but he will talk to those guys. He will talk to these guys and say, look, you can't let this extracurricular stuff go. And Columbus wants to do that. It's a feature of the Tortorella regime, if you will. So
it comes with a package, man.
But Oshie's battling something, Ness. He hasn't taken any morning skates. He's clearly got some lower body. injury, but he comes out in the game and he plays well. I just hope it's not a groin, because eventually a groin is going to go. I hope it's something else that's ailing him, where he just doesn't want to take a chance, because the Capitals need that guy. He was outstanding on Thursday night. He was all over. I mean, how many pucks did he keep alive? And that's what you need to do, and that just wears a team out. So, best effort of the playoffs, arguably the best effort of the season. I think that they got to keep playing that way. They've got to play that same mentality at home. They can't get into come across the blue line and let's try and go cross ice. That cross ice pass is really, really diminished in their game, and I think that's why they're being successful. More north-south. They're defending well. They're getting the numbers back. And again, as Trotz told me on Wednesday, what he said was, we got to make sure we got the back pressure to help with the numbers on their rush game, and they neutralized Artemi Panarin for sure in Game 4. He was not really much of a factor.
3 p.m. on the ice in the nation's capital on Saturday afternoon. It's Game 5. Ed and I will be monitoring that out on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Snapchat, everywhere that these things go. All of it brought to you by our friends at the Modell Lyric. Britt Floyd plays on Thursday night. That's the music of Pink Floyd. Damian Darlington, who was the band leader, plays the Gilmore role, chatted with me for about 25 minutes about the history of Pink Floyd. That show's Thursday night. You'll definitely want to be on the WNST text service if you're a Britt Floyd, because we're on the clock with the 16th pick. Luke will get that out to you. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Also, Jackson Brown coming up the Modell Lyric on the 3rd of May. And Steely Dan in Kansas coming this fall. That'll be fun. I'm wearing my Brigade hat. Next Saturday, the Albany Empire invade the Royal Farms Arena. In the afternoon, it's a second Brigade game. They played at home last Friday night. They beat the Washington Valor. The season's underway, and I'm wearing my little Brigade hat here. People keep asking me, hey, what's the blue B you're wearing? That's kind of a cool hat. I'm like, yeah, it's a Brigade hat. So I'm wearing that for them. BaltimoreBrigade.com, Monumental Sports. Download the app and make that happen. Our morning newspaper delivers each and every morning at 7 a.m. to your email inbox. It's all brought to you by our friends at Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com, where it's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. And the entries for the Maryland Jockey Club and Laurel, as the coach would say, Charlie Ekman. All the entries in there, as well as on the front of WNST.net. Don't forget the Tessio running on Saturday. That's a real Preakness a prep race. And, of course, we get the Kentucky Derby coming up in a couple of weeks. My wife and I are headed down to Laurel for the Kentucky Derby on May 5th. She picked that address the other day, Eddie. So, and I know you and Karen have some designs on joining us. I hope we have that problem of a Caps-Penguins game late into the night. I'm going to tell a little story out of school here, but don't tell anyone. I snuck in and out of Philadelphia on Wednesday night and to see a concert, see Chris Robinson, the old Black Crow singer. And great show at the Electric Factory. I'd never been there. But I found myself in a little cheesesteak joint up the street there in North Philly. And I was with a Flyers fan. I don't admit that often, but I was with a Flyers fan. And we drove past the rink, right? And, you know, the game was in progress about 7:15. We got to this cheesesteak place 7:30. And my buddy's all geeked up. He's like, we got to find a place where the Flyers are on. Well, I got to watch the second period, you know. We walked in. It was 2-0. We walked out. It was 4-0. They're done up there, right? I don't know that that's good or bad. We hate them, right? But, you know, the Penguins are who's waiting, right? They're waiting down the line.
No doubt about it, Ness, and you would like to see that series go longer in the event the Capitals do finish off the Blue Jackets. And it's still 2-2. This is still anybody's series, especially given the Capitals' woes at home. But the killer for the Flyers was in practice, I think it was Tuesday, in practice, you know, they're doing a drill, and you know, somebody screwed up because Radko Gudas goes to play a pass and moves to his right a little bit. It's not a good pass. And Sean Couturier, who's been outstanding for the Flyers this season, comes flying down the ice. He doesn't see Gudas move over, and Gudas takes his knee out. Now, I think Couturier is out for the series, and they really needed him because that's their second center. And when you're going against Crosby and Malkin, you've got to have at least two centers. So you could pretty much, you can put the coffin in the ground. The Flyers are done. All the Caps or Blue Jackets can really hope for is that the Flyers go a little dirty and take somebody with them. Patrick Hornquist did miss Game 4 for the Penguins, but that guy always seems to rise from the dead when he plays the Capitals.
All right, well, you know, the good news is it's level set. It's a 3-game series. The Caps have home ice back. They're playing well. They're a little nicked up, but aren't we all at this point, right? And
sure.
And you know, I shaved, and they've been winning since I started to shave, Eddie. So I'm gonna go clean shaven. If you see me in the rink down there on Saturday, and that's a distinct possibility for me to be in the house in Game 5 down at the Capital One Center, I will be clean shaven.
Oh, nice. Well, let's keep it going. Holtby just needs to keep being solid in that, and the team's got to keep playing the right way. They keep playing like they did on Thursday night. Boy, they're going to be hard to beat because Columbus just didn't get any space on the ice. They really locked it down.
Clean, lean, and mean. That's the plan for Game 5. Ed, rest up. We got a lot of hockey ahead if they keep winning. You know that, right?
Let's keep it going. I mean, I know you've always been cautiously optimistic. I was not optimistic, so I will happily have the clean-shaven Nestor Aparicio.
By the way, I'm going to call out Pete Gilbert of WBAL right now. On you, Pete Gilbert. Also, Stepner over at Channel 2. They were both peeing on the Capitals at the Flacco press conference on Tuesday when it was 0-2. And they were like, you're the only one that believes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the only one that believes, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I am remaining cautiously optimistic. And I like that you keep bringing that up because I'll keep bringing that up too. And I hope that we're talking about a 6-game wipeout here on Monday night, get a little rest and, me figure out some flights up to Pittsburgh for next week or something like that.
Well, keep the Bon Jovi crank with Keep the Faith on, and let's keep it going.
All right, there he goes, Ed Frankovic. He is Ed at WNST.net, as well as Ed Frankovic. That's Frankovic out on Twitter. He's been my friend for 33 years now. We've been going to hockey games. We've been waiting to drink from the Stanley Cup for 33 years. It's 2-2. I'm cautiously optimistic. All of our WNST programming brought to you by our friends at King Discount Liquors, lottery, beer, booze, and the best prices in Baltimore. I got over there Saturday. I tried to give the King a ring, but apparently they give Paul King off on Saturdays now. But there's a legend that I'm going to appear in some of the epic commercials of King Discount Liquors. I don't know what my character's going to be this summer. Maybe be something wild, World Cup oriented. I don't know. Maybe I could be Messi in the. That would be kind of funny. I'll work with Paul on the scripts on that. King Discount Liquors, Pulaski Highway. All you need to know is lottery, beer, booze, and here's the key part: the best prices in Baltimore, and they back that up every single day over there. Costas Inn, they back up all that praise they get on the Today Show and all that national praise. My boy Bucky's always checking in from California as well. Good enough for the Today Show. Good enough for my mom. For Mother's Day, for my mom's birthday, the fat crabs, the cold beer, the legend continues. It is Costas Inn, CostasInn.com. They ship those crab cakes too. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram. But most importantly, always in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear everywhere. Listen live. All brought to you by buyatoyota.com. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.